In 3 weeks, we'll hear those stirring words again. Let the games begin. The world's best athletes will be out to prove their might, and so will all of China. And what might there is. More than 1 billion people, an economic boom unprecedented in history, a transformation that has to be seen to be believed. That's all very well, but here's the real eye-opener. In Beijing, I was astounded by the new face of China. It's cheeky, it's sexy, and it's very, very rich. A whole new middle class, hundreds of millions of people who were dirt poor a few years ago and now have money to burn, who also have our future in their hands. Around the world, the truly famous need only go by one name. But move over Madonna, Cher and Kylie.
My champagne and my cigar.
China has Namu. She's a huge star here, a TV celebrity and best-selling author. Do you work hard at being China's sexiest woman?
No, I don't have to work hard. Just coming naturally.
But what's really extraordinary about Namu is that she and her flamboyant excesses can flourish in today's China. Is it fair to say that you represent the new China? That your face is the new China?
I hope so. I think so, you know?
And what a face it is. She's a flash of fluorescent colour in grey Beijing. Namu embraces Western fashion and values as enthusiastically as she clutches the hand of a newfound friend. It's Sex and the City in the Orient.
Are your feet okay in these shoes?
I said I'm going to die with high heel shoes.
You're going to die with high heels.
High heel shoes.
You are really Sex and the City.
Namu is far from alone. China's 1.3 billion people have increasingly Western tastes. And with almost 1 million millionaires, the world's most populated nation may soon be the greatest consumer of the world's most famous brands.
People like new things. Everything from a Western country, everything's new. They don't say it's beautiful or not. They said, wow,
How much
I
is
bought
that?
this. Do you know how much it costs?
That is important to the Chinese, is it?
Yeah.
To appear wealthy, to be wealthy.
These days, yes.
It's about the brand names.
Yeah, it's in the air. It's in the air.
It's in the air.
It's in the air.
It's a long way from the China we know, a secretive authoritarian regime condemned by the world for the brutality that unfolded here in Tiananmen Square in 1989.
The unarmed students had no hope. Many fell wounded or dead, with bicycles crashing around them as they tried to escape the hail of bullets.
But a booming economy has catapulted China into the 21st century. And it's not just the super rich reaping the benefits. A new middle class has emerged. Hundreds of millions of people who, just a few years ago, were poverty-stricken.
China has come a long way in a short span of time, but it's still our generation, really. So I'm still the living testament of that incredibly harsh and unbelievable, unimaginable, sort of hard life.
Li Swing-sin and his family are proof of China's newfound prosperity and the dramatic rise in living standards for so many.
So you squeeze it with this thumb.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. And then just make them a little bit rounder.
These days, life is comfortable and secure with plenty of food to go around. Even enough for clumsy guests.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's pathetic. Come on.
It's hard to imagine now, but not so long ago, this family was struggling to survive through China's Cultural Revolution, a desperate time when 30 million people starved to death. The rural village where Li grew up with his parents and 6 brothers has been demolished, but others like it still exist.
So how similar is this to your place, the way where you grew up?
Almost exactly the same. The same layout, and this is basically what you see. This is the sewer, sewer system.
Lee describes his extraordinary upbringing in his best-selling autobiography, Mao's Last Dancer. Cramped conditions, near starvation, and winter temperatures of minus 20 degrees.
So you were here, Lee, with your brothers sleeping?
Basically will be, one of my brother will be there, and I'll be probably inside. My parents will be really outside, so we won't roll off the bed, and it will be basically head to toe. So sometimes on this bed we could have 4 or 5 people.
Hundreds of millions still live in poverty like this today. But as a young boy, Lee made his escape through ballet. He became one of China's best dancers, and at 18, on a tour of the United States, decided to stay. His defection bought him freedom, but cost him access to his family.
Do you feel much guilt for the lifestyle you lead?
Not anymore, but for a while, I did. Every time I ate a piece of banana or meat, and I just wished my mother could have that. So that was really, for years, I felt, terrible by having a better life than my parents and my brothers.
The new China has forgiven this defector. Lee, who now lives in Melbourne, can visit his family when he wants, a family that's prospered in these good times. 2 years ago, his parents moved into this modern apartment block. Extreme poverty has been replaced by middle-class comfort and entrepreneurial flair.
I'm his best brother.
You can tell me later what you really think.
Yeah, but we actually fought a lot.
Nowadays, communist China is full of capitalist opportunity. Lee's brother, Swing Fa, is China's up-and-coming Lindsay Fox, going from driving trucks to owning a trucking company.
And does he feel, because some of his trucks are to help build roads and with the construction of China, does he feel like he's building China?
He said he feels very good about it.
Just down the road, another brother, Swing Mao, has opened China's first home renovating superstore.
It's quite impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I might have to come shopping.
Do you need something from your place in Australia? We can ship it there.
The savvy Swing Mao has timed his one-stop shopping mall with a property and renovating boom. And his business is now worth $15 million.
And obviously the Chinese like to renovate their homes, like Australia.
They love their homes.
They love their homes.
They love their homes.
If there ever was a symbol of China's success, it's here. Welcome to the grandly named Beijing Riviera, a wealthy gated community on the outskirts of the city. These sort of developments are popping up everywhere to meet the demands of China's emerging middle class. They desperately want to live the suburban dream. A garden, a couple of cars in the garage and a big house. They want, and they're getting, all the trappings of the West.
I mean, sometimes you need to sort of do a double take on some of these suburbs. They literally are just row after row of French provincial housing or English Tudor. And a lot of Chinese are buying these places in droves, and it's forcing the city to expand at a great pace.
So like the rest of the world, this new middle class is seeking space, fresh air.
Yeah. Yep, and a sense of self-importance and a sense of pride in what they've achieved.
In the 3 years Australian architect John Pauline has been in China, he's seen a constantly changing skyline. He and his firm, PTW, are responsible for some of it, creating the winning design for the Athletes' Village and Beijing's Olympic Swimming Centre, a spectacular splash of colour known as the Cube.
There's been a lot of discussion. China really wanted to show off. They wanted to have the most modern, the most cutting edge.
Yeah, no, it's true. And to be honest, I mean, I actually have a lot of admiration for the government and the people who made decisions here in Beijing, because they made some bold choices.
China might be making its mark through this explosion in building, but with the Olympics just a month away, it's losing its battle with pollution. The environment has become the victim of an economy growing at 10% a year and a society that just wants more and more.
Believe it or not, it's a bright sunny day here in Beijing. You just can't see it for all the smog. Adding to the pollution, every day there are 1,000 new cars hitting the traffic jams in this already congested capital. Just to breathe in this city is the equivalent of smoking 70 cigarettes a day.
Every now and again you do get a beautiful blue sky day, but they're a little bit rare. And so I'm used to seeing Beijing in this context, but it is a shame. I mean, this Olympic site really shines in good weather, but you just don't see it a lot.
Because you can taste it, can't you?
Yeah, it is in the air. Yeah.
You're talking about hundreds of millions who are dying from environmental-related diseases. Polluted air, polluted water, polluted everything.
Sharon Hom is a human rights activist who the Chinese government won't tolerate on the mainland. Hong Kong is as close as she's allowed.
It's not just blocking. It's that even if you do get access, it's about surveillance.
Sharon is not upbeat about the new China and says the big boom has created the biggest gap on the planet between rich and poor.
What it means is that you've got 300 million moved out of poverty, but 700 million without any access to health care, 700 million drinking contaminated water.
So scratch the surface and there isn't really a new China.
No. If the Chinese authorities and the Chinese people are not able to address from the bottom up and the top down these poverty, uneven development, the environment, and human rights issues, we are going to see a very dangerous future, and it's going to impact the world.
These days, China appears to be a happy, benign place. But Sharon warns with little freedom of information and continued human rights abuses, it can't last.
So without democracy, the China boom will go bust.
Without democracy, which you need to have the accountability and the transparency, yeah, the economic boom is going to go bust.
Boom or bust, we have a vested interest in China's future. So far, their prosperity has fueled our resources boom and helped shield the Australian economy from the worst of the world credit crisis. While we benefit during the good times, how will we suffer if the boom does turn to bust?
Oh, I think we're going to suffer in a very severe fashion. I really think it's going to really result a lot more lost jobs, and really the industries are will go through a painful downsizing period of time.
Just don't tell Namu. This influential celebrity is too busy enjoying China's current success to make waves. She's more into Dior than democracy. If you were to write a book that criticised the government, what would the reaction be?
I'm not going to write.
Why not?
Because I'm not interested in those things.
Yeah.
I'm interested in fashions, lifestyles, tell my girlfriend how to wear clothes, tell my reader, where's good place to eat, good place to buy, and that's it.
So you really are Beijing's Carrie Bradshaw?
I think so.